So we are back. It is Saturday. It is my favorite day of the week. We're back to make some fun. We've had a lot of positive responses other than one person. And so today I have some old clips, but I almost, first I want to say it's unfortunate. You know, Husey's drowning in a barrel of Guinness. He can't be here today. There's some other people that are lined up for the next shows, believe it or not. But today we do have Jeff Urstadt here, which is he's a supporter of the network. He's been on my shows before, and he's been on Husey's before, I believe. So he's well versed in all this nonsense. So he's going to come on and have a good time with us today. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was going to say I almost didn't make it to this recording because I wanted to put out there, R.I.P. to my grandfather, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. Did he just pass?
Huh? Oh, no, he died in 1996. I was just looking for attention.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Sorry for your loss. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, something.
What we have, is that too brutal? Should we use that? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. What we have is, obviously, we've been going through the videos. People really enjoyed this stuff, and we've been doing some present-day responses to things that were going on. But I wanted to go back in time to some of these clips and videos that are like legendary in this little group of people because they were so funny to watch at the time, but we never mocked them because we were trying to be polite. Now we're not trying to be polite anymore. So do I hit the share screen here? Boom. So, hello.
Oh, no.
Jesus, What the fuck is that?
Oh, my God. This is what's interesting about this. It was an hour with Jeff Lane, Vince Russo, and Matt Kuhn back then. That's like a time capsule. I pause right here because this is the end before the segment that we're going to watch.
I don't know what your relationship with Kuhn is, but I don't know. How can you handle that guy for an hour? I have never heard anybody bloviate about nonsense like him. I'm sorry. It's actually amazing.
What a word, bloviate. I love it.
Yeah.
Get down. But so this was legendary when it happened. This, as we're going back in time, this is going to tell a linear story. Like I said, this is something like January 2019, and back then it was a whole different world. And I don't mean COVID-free. I mean John was a member of the Creative Control Network. Mike was on the brand, I think, and everybody was just sailing along. No one could foresee the future and all the wars and battles that have taken place since. But this was funny because I remember at the time watching it. But when I actually used to watch the video versions of these, I would just stream them to my TV. And I knew John was on, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice. He'll promote the network. This is good stuff." And then I watched it, and I was like, this is not good." And I think that was like the general consensus. But I'm going to hit this here.
Good. Well, Vince, for this next castration, we have a special guest. This is a guy who had me on his show a few weeks back, the Wrestling with Reality podcast. It's on Joe Feeney's Creative Control Network. And on the show, he asked me this.
Jeff, it would make my life in my honor if I could come on Castrating the Marks, and anytime you would have me and do a Dave Meltzer. I want to castrate Marks so bad with you guys. It's like a dream of mine. I know it sounds so cheesy to some people listening. That's how much I love the brand and Vince and Jeff and what they do. It would be an honor of mine if I could come on for 5 minutes, an hour, whatever you would have me on to come join you guys on the show, because I would love to castrate Marks.
A little hypocritical, huh?
Oh, that's a big start, dude. Wait till you see how it goes. Man, I mean, as you know, Mike hosts a show, I host a show. We've had varying levels of celebrities on, whoever, people with notoriety. And sometimes you might get starstruck, but this was a whole new level to me of just sucking ass. Like, dude,
Jesus.
A grown man. And wait do you see how the story goes.
You could smell the sperm coming off his breath. You could smell it from here.
Please, sir.
I tell you what, email me this week and we will set that up.
Jeff, you just made my life, man. I will be forever indebted, whatever I can do.
And he's with us today, Vince. His name is John. He's the host of the show. And John, I will butcher your last name. I'm not going to say it, so I will let you say it. But how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, Jeff. Thanks for having me on, Jeff and Vince. And my last name is Wangland.
Who?
Wangland.
Nice.
Yeah, well, that's not too bad, Jeff. I break that down into two words, Wang and Land. Hey, John, let me ask you a question. Right off the bat, John.
He went on about how much this would be an honor for him and so forth. Yeah. And the time comes, he's on the show. The motherfucker can't even hook up some headphones and like an iPhone headset.
Yeah.
He's in a room with poor connection.
Yeah.
and you can barely hear him. It's like, dude, you got the chance, shoot your shot, and you fucking missed.
Porous walls. Yeah, not good for sound. Yeah. But he's also got the trademark Wangland frozen death smile. So that's
wrestling with reality. What was the meaning behind the name? Like when you guys came up with the name, what give me the thought process behind that, what you guys were thinking?
Well, my co-host Jeff and I were looking to do something because there's so many wrestling podcasts that are out there. And with us, never working in the field, we're not an...
I would mind you, I'd like to interject that this dirty bird, everyone else that gets on that show buys a Jeff Lane t-shirt or is a subscriber or whatever, and Wangland backdoored his way in, without paying, which is, it didn't happen for that show, but you'll see the kind of appreciation he shows later for that. For Jeff doing him a favor,
Expert on anything with wrestling like you are, or the wrestlers that do their shows. So we wanted to have a show that was unique. So with the Wrestling with Reality name was we did want to talk about wrestling because we're, always been lifelong fans, but we also want to make a difference in the world to other people. And we wanted to talk about real life issues that were going on, social issues, like things like we just did a 3-part series on addiction and depression, anxiety. We really wanted to use that medium for the reality portion to talk about things that people don't always discuss. And I think it's a unique topic and a good unique name.
So John, like
there's one person that's sympathetic to people that have depression issues. It is John. I don't know.
He's got a whole network full of them. You got a guy like Chris Martin who tweets about it and talks about it for his entire show. You got the simple man, Jeff Miller, who he writes entire paragraphs about how he struggles with. Dude.
See, now this is where they lose me right out of the gate here.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're listening to a podcast. Now, some of it is going to be informative, and some of it is going to. But I mean, we are in the entertainment business here. Nobody wants to hear you whine about your problems, bro.
One thing's for sure is that, they dealt with addiction and depression and anxiety. And as soon as I saw this segment, I was very anxious that I had allowed him on my network. So that did kind of fit,
So wrestling's kind of the backdrop then, I take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we love wrestling, and it's always fun to talk about that, man. And, with stuff going on nowadays, it's not as interesting to us. So it's like, we want to reminisce too about things that we enjoyed growing up or we enjoyed seeing throughout the years, the important stuff that we liked that really shaped our lives. And, wrestling was a big part of it, and especially the era that, we always watched with you and the Attitude Era and WCW and everything. And we just want to make it fun and exciting. And I think we do that on our show as best as we can with great guests and interesting people. And the topics that we talk about for the reality side is just, we've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. It's been a lot of fun to do. And we really know and hope that we're reaching out to people and making a difference in their life.
Who was your favorite guest on the show?
Honestly, and I'm not just saying that because he's here. It's Jeff and Mike Durband last week were just arrived.
Oy vey.
No, I'm not just saying that.
Channel changer.
No. They were phenomenal, man. And just so gracious to us. And
I would just like to point out again that Jeff did John this favor, allowed him on, and also Jeff being on his show did produce the highest numbers that they ever did. I would bet to this day, Yep. And it's not to disrespect Jeff. It still wasn't that high, but it was certainly higher for a show that was really limping along,
Speaking of that, what do you do for a living, man?
Well, I was in the military for 12 years and almost 12 years on active duty, and I got medically retired due to some serious injuries I sustained. And then when I got out, I actually, while I was in my last couple years, I worked really hard on my schooling, and I ended up getting my master's degree in human services administration. So I run nonprofit agencies, and presently right now I work as...
He has a master's degree. The motherfucker can't spell to save his life. If you ever read his articles that get published, it looks like
on a website. Yeah,
it looks like a 5th grader wrote them. I mean, the guy doesn't know anything about punctuation, where to place a comma.
Yeah.
Anything like that. So come on. What school gave him
a need that stuff to write a college level paper.
Yeah.
I need that stuff.
And he it looks like someone that just stepped into high school journalism class.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you even read his show descriptions for any of the shows that he puts out, any one of them has at least 3 errors in it. It's like, what fucking school gave him a master's degree?
Yeah, put a little pride into your shit there. And it still goes on 2 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and he runs multiple not-for-profit organizations. What now?
Yeah, who knows about that? I've always said that, unfortunately, after my experiences with the guy, that anything that he says, I don't believe automatically. It could be anything. It could be about a job. It could be about school. It could be about a death. It could be anything. I'm immediately going, nope, just because of the history in the past or whatever. And just it's all nonsense, and it's all mostly deflections. But anyway,
These injuries. I mean, are you okay now? Or like, what happened? You okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be in pain, unfortunately, from it. When the Iraq War kicked off, and we went over there for my job that I was doing at the time, we were basically on our feet 16, 17 hours.
Didn't he tell us he was like a high-level bodyguard?
That guy?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And here's the thing: if someone lies about military service and you even point it out, people are like, "Oh, what the fuck? You know, he served. What are you doing?" But so people can hide behind that because you're not supposed to pick at it. You know, even if it's true or it's not true. Like if someone says they did certain shit in the military, and you have a suspicion that they didn't, if you bring it up, you're the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like I know they call it false valor and shit like that. People wearing uniforms when they're not supposed to. But I've always seen it like if someone was in the service and you shit on what they did or tell them or make it public that you don't believe them, then you're the prick for trying to take down someone that served the country or whatever, you know?
Well, I mean, listen, it's one thing to say that you were in the service, but I mean, if you're going to go and say that you were like a special forces commando or something and you manned a desk, what the fuck?
Sometimes carrying 100 pounds of gear on. And then my knee started to really just get bad. And then I remember about a year or two later, I was running, and I was a big runner. And I ended up missing like the step like on the sidewalk, and I snapped my ankle in half, and it just ruined my knee worse. So I had 3 knee problems. And
oh, so what? He got fucked up and fell down the stairs? Is that what's going on?
And he's clumsy. Can't even step off the curb.
Yeah, military precision.
My neck started to go over time too. So that was the end of my career. They sent me packing.
Now, John, how did you guys hook up with Joe Feeney?
Well, we had started to produce a lot of our shows independently. Something it was kind of like, you know, are we going to do this? Like, let's give it a whirl. So we did it independently. And then Joe, we had listened to a lot of the shows with Conan and Keeping It 100. I'm a big fan of his. And, you know, even though I like to bust his ass all the time, I always like, you know, Disco Inferno. He's a really smart guy, you know, and gives a lot of good perspective. So Joe just reached out to him, sent him a couple of our shows so he could take a listen to it. And he said, hey, you know, I'm starting the network on the
I did not listen.
Creative Control Network back up. You know, you guys want to join up? And I was like, absolutely. And it's been tremendous working with Joe.
How long you been doing it now?
We've been doing the podcast since July. We've been with Joe since right around, I think it was right after Halloween, or first part of November, we went with Joe. Yeah, It's been a blast, man. Old Mike Feeney's a good guy.
I'm just trying to get to his plugs because that's when he really sucks them off.
John, so tell us, when's the show drop? Where exactly do we go to listen to it?
Well, you can check out Wrestling with Reality. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Hipcast. You know, you can subscribe and like to us. Just type in Wrestling with Reality podcast. There's 2 names that are out there. Look for the one under the Creative Control Network or Joe Feeney, however it pops out.
How come there's 2 names?
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Why would you name your podcast after something that's already chosen, you know?
And still is active to this day.
Mm-mm.
We're also on Twitter. It's at WWR Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, WWRpodcast.com 2018. And we drop shows every Tuesday and Friday. And sometimes we do 3 in a week. And we also just started with the YouTube realm. We actually just taped an interview tonight with a couple friends of the show, the Grapplers.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. Yep, the Grapplers have the hit.
Bro, how are the Grapplers getting on other shows, bro? How is this happening now, bro?
I got to see this.
This weekend, this was funny, man. This weekend with the...
You see that, though? If he just would have kept along the path.
Yeah.
Jeff was being nice to him, friendly. I got to see this, putting his show over.
It's unbelievable. Well, John, man, I'm glad you joined us, bro. Wrestling with Reality on the was it Mike Feeney?
Mike Feeney's network. Yep.
Mike Feeney Creative Control Network, and you said Tuesday and Fridays, but sometimes 3 times a week.
Yeah, we try to give an extra show out depending upon how many interviews we do. We got some really great.
You don't even correct them and say the right name.
Nah, it was Vince always used to get my name wrong.
Sometimes we're able to get 3 out with my full-time job and everything. It's not always feasible, but we guarantee 2 times a week. And Vince, can I ask you a favor? Just something I've always wanted to ask you.
Absolutely, bro.
You're on my top 5 people. Honestly, you're my top person I want on the show because of the respect that we have for you. And you did something for my co-host Jeff last year, and you probably don't remember it, but he's a huge fan of yours. And when you were in Rocky Mountain, he was going to the shows and everything. And his girlfriend loves wrestling too and everything. And her brother had died, and you actually were kind enough to send them a video that made her day.
I remember that. I definitely remember that. I do remember that, bro. Yeah.
So you, literally, like, the respect that me and Jeff have for you is just immense. It's just undescribable.
But yet you invite Jeff Lane on the show before me, which I found very interesting, John. You know, John,
I sent you an email about a month and a half ago, and you just said thanks for the support. So
you sent me an email asking me to come on the show.
Yeah, I said we'd love to have you on the show if you're available to do it. Right to your official email.
I'm gonna when we wrap this up, I'm gonna give you my kayfabe email.
Okay.
Email me at the kayfabe email and we'll set it up. I'll definitely come on there.
Big mistake.
Mr. Russo, that would be our lives, man.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure to speak with you, sir. Like, thank you for everything that you do for everybody, your loyal fans, and, you know, just the empowering things. You're a true gentleman, and all of you guys are in the brand, and we're loyal supporters for life. And if we can ever do anything for you guys, just let us know, please.
Yeah, no, John, I appreciate the support. I'll definitely come on the show.
What up, Mike?
Loyal supporters for life.
Hey, it's going to make his life.
How soon after this did he make that video where he ripped apart Vince Russo for over an hour?
4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have that. It's lost to the world, unfortunately. But I do have something else afterwards that was a response, which is I wanted to contrast. You know what? I'm not going to play the one I was going to play where he's on your show about Severn and all. We can do that another time because I don't want to take up too much.
Yeah.
But when we wrap this up, I'll give you my email address.
Thanks, Vince. I really appreciate it.
Well, that's John, everybody. And John, just want to thank you again for having me on your show. I had a great time. Guys, go listen to it. It's still up there. It's free. You guys have been giving it tremendous support. So I appreciate you supporting me. And I know John appreciates you guys checking out the show. But check them all out. It's great stuff. John, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks again, guys. Anytime. I hope I can do it again soon. And Jeff, thanks again, man. I just want to say, with you and Mike Durband, we all charted in iTunes, and we broke into top 400 because of you guys.
Oh, jeez. Don't feed.
You did, Vince. I'm just telling you.
Bro, don't feed the Krigo. All right, John. Thanks a lot, my friend.
Yeah. Have a great night, guys.
Tremendous. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, you can see that things could have gone down a whole different path. Obviously, Jeff seemed to like the guy genuinely. He probably would have helped him out. Who knows where Wrestling with Reality would have been. I've always said not to be narcissistic or whatever. If he just would have stuck around with Creative Control, things could have been totally different. If he would have started his shit, though, like he did with Meltzer shortly after this, and then Russo and Jeff, I probably would have been like, this isn't working. But you can see where a different path would have led if he would have tried to have his show, give it notoriety in a different type of way than the way that he went, which was just to start fights with everyone. Yeah. At this point, the sky was the limit, baby. And now look where it went, a year later.
Yep.
A year, that's it. That was last year.
Yeah.
So.
It seems like it was 3 years ago, but it was
I know. It was last year. And if that was January or February, it was like a month later that he started Reality Check. So he probably already had that in his mind, and he was probably like, fuck, I'm wasting my appearance here. I could be plugging my shit that's coming up. But yeah, so that was just the beginning. So what I'm going to play next is going to be, how things eventually turned out with that relationship. So Jeff, you got any thoughts on the that video blowjob you just saw?
I'm kind of embarrassed by the level of ass kissing going on there. It's uncomfortable almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as you said, earlier, like everybody can be a little starstruck and whatever. But I mean, goddamn, dude, you're on the guy's show. Act like you belong.
Yeah, absolutely. A part of the history of all this that's been lost and denied is that, in fact, I didn't task Husey with it, but I did say, hey, if you see any shows that you think would be good as we were growing, give me a shout or whatever. Husey did bring me Wrestling with Reality. He lies now and says he didn't. But he knows that's the truth. He knows that's the goddamn truth.
Oh, boy. Poor Husey.
So as we were setting to do this part 2, as Jeff had just said, that was the now we're going to focus on the collapse, which, let's face it, the collapse is always a lot more fun. To make a long story short, and I think John actually references this in what we're going to listen to and mock here, his network started. And he was bringing on supposedly Dan Severn and Don Fry for an MMA show. And then he was bringing on Vampiro for I don't even know what it was supposed to be, Supernatural and wrestling. I'm not sure. And so he kept talking about how he was going to promote the show on all these big platforms and so on. So he does Mike's show. Mike was still on Realm. And he gets censored. Jeff Lane pulls the segment and doesn't allow Mike to use it because prior to that, John had already started burying Vince in there's a clip that I have somewhere of it and in a video. So
he was burying him on Twitter, and then I think there was one night when Vince was doing a Twitch and John went in there and started burying him for the fake Christian thing. I think John's YouTube video came after that.
Yeah. Okay, so and then Mike had him on and kind of was like, hey, come on, we'll just shoot the shit. I need a segment. You can promote your Severn show and all this. And Jeff Lane said, I know who this guy is. I'm not putting it on Realm.
You know, we touched on like the stolen valor thing. Burying somebody for like a fake religious awakening. What the fuck?
That's what I always said. And that's where some of the heat started with me.
Listen, it could be bullshit, but if somebody's drawing some kind of inner strength or something from it, I mean, why are you gonna bury it on the guy?
Yeah, and it was your religious shit's a sham. You're not a great Christian. You rip off your subscribers. You're going broke. You're like, it was all this shit that was like what we're doing here. Still, bottom line is joking and parody. But he went straight for Vince's throat. The way I saw him attacking him, I was like, this is too much, dude. You're going over the line. What we're gonna do is, as Mike knows, there's been some scrubbing of the Wrestling with Reality archives and videos and this and that. But some people still have files. And this was his first real comeback. He had it with Jeff Lane. He had it with Matt Coon. He had it with Russo. He had it with me. He had it with Husey. And he did like this hour and a half. You can see right there, an hour and 15 minutes rant on everyone. I'm not going to play all that. What I'm going to play is what fits the story today, where this is after his I love you guys, it would make my life to do my show appearance with Jeff and Vince, and this is how it all played out down the line.
And then fast forward, couple months later, Mike Durband, good guy, great guy, love Mike, nothing but great things to say about Mr. Durband. Been on my show several times, been on his show several times, big fan. Does great work, talented guy, cool dude, love him to death. No ill feelings towards Mike at all. Mike sends me a message, and here's him promoting.
But I thought that was funny to play because right now he has visceral hatred for Mike Durband.
He says, hey, you want to come on and promote your show? Once again, I say, he asked me. I didn't ask Mike to go on his show to promote mine. So I said, yeah, sure, Mike, no problem. When you want to tape it, I think we set up a time over the weekend. We were going to tape it. Well, Mike sent me a message and said, hey, I'm probably going to push this to the end of August. Okay, cool. He says it aligns with when you're releasing it on August 29th. Cool, Mike. No problem, brother. Never. You just let me know. You want me to come on and do it? I'll gladly do it, because he was planning to have Russo's kid on there. Well, fast forward, I think a few days, I went on vacation, was down in Florida with my family. Mike sends me a message on Twitter, and I think something like happened with Russo's kid. Couldn't do the taping. He didn't have enough content for that week and wanted to see if I could bump it back up and do the taping with him that night. 10, 15 minutes, whatever it might be. Sure, Mike, cool, man. Anytime Mike asks me to do something, I would gladly do it. Mike's a great dude. I would anytime go do anything with Mike. I love talking to him. He's a tremendous guy. Friend, definitely think Mike's a cool guy. So I just want to keep saying that out there. That's how much I respect Mike Durband. So I do the show. We have a great time. We do 30, 40 minutes. We do this little funny skit for this stupid podcast bullshit that we'll talk about later in a little bit. And, here we go. We do the whole thing. I cut a little funny promo back at these guys that have been barbing at me for weeks and this supposed joke that they were making, which really wasn't a fucking joke, because they were making hateful and nasty comments, because that's how they are.
That's you guys?
But I play along with it. I go,
you and I are hateful and nasty. we've been hateful, nasty people for like a year now. That's how we get described.
Yeah, just to clear it up because it's a little confusing. The timeline at this point, I'm still on the brand.
Yeah.
Joe Feeney and Husey are on creative control, and the podcast war that he just mentioned was between John and his crew versus Joe and Husey. And it was kind of a lighthearted thing, right? Around this point, anyway.
Right now, the shit started hitting the fan because it did start lighthearted, and I think podcast wars was like it was started to be a joke between Husey and John, and then it got real because John would say things like, "My podcast with Dan Severn is the number 3 wrestling podcast in the world." I'm like, dude, what? You sound crazy right now. He would talk about these massive downloads, this and that, and this is when all that started. And I would, as always, I would DM him first, and I would say, "That sounds bad. That looks bad. It's not true. People are starting to not take you seriously because there's no fucking way, shape, or form is 1 week of a show with Dan Severn, number 3. Stop it. Austin, Jericho, Pritchard, Bischoff at the time, whatever. They're the steady top 5. No one's breaking them, And somehow he convinced himself that was reality, that him and Severn were, I don't know, but it's just, so I would make fun of him on there about how, hey, if it's such a successful show, no one's tweeting about it, no one's answering you, no one has anything to say about it. It's like it doesn't even exist, dude. People can tell with social media interaction how successful something is, but
yeah.
So that's how it started.
It's funny. It's great. It's ha. A few days after that, I'm home from vacation. I'm in my house. I think it was on a Monday or a Tuesday. And Mike sends me a message and he says, "Hey, your segment's not going to be on the show. Jeff Lane pulled it, said that we couldn't have you on it and that you're not allowed to be on." Whatever, man. It's no big deal. Not mad at you for that, Mike. It's not on you. That's on Jeff Lane. If Jeff Lane wants to censor it, fucking A, man. That's on him. Whatever. Love Mike. He's got a great show. Reaches good people, man, and stuff. But let's be realistic.
It's a great show. It reaches a lot of people. But
to promote something is typically on an MMA or a sports show. That's where I would choose to, promote a show.
Yeah, he would promote the Dan Severn show on MMA and sports shows, except for the fact that he didn't. He promoted it nowhere, not on one show. The only place that he promoted it on was the Mike Durband show, and here he is shitting on it.
Because that's the audience that's going to reach. It's really no sweat off my ass. I'm not mad at the whole thing whatsoever.
No, not at all.
The word gets out there that he blocked me off the show, that he censors me off there. And then I guess Jeff gets a big shitstorm from people. People are bombarding his message, bored about why did you do it, whatever. Now, this is what a hated guy I am supposedly by people that, nobody would ever want to listen to me or come to my defense like some of these guys like to say. Well, I guess Jeff admits on his video there that people were bombing him for hours about it. Why did you do it?
Who do you think that was, Mike? Who do you think was sending Jeff emails about the censorship?
I don't think any brand members cared that the segment got cut.
Probably Rob, right? Probably the simple man.
Yeah, the simple.
Maybe
man.
His wife, whoever. Chris Martin.
I don't know if Brother Martin was on at this point.
Well, already by this point, the tide was turning. So anyone that would usually have someone's back or send tweets or emails, like some of the parody accounts, they were already firmly in the Creative Control Network corner.
Yeah.
John's never had support like we have, whether it's parody accounts, listeners, people that back us up as soon as someone takes a shot at us, He just never has. And that was always the point, too. Like, where are all these magical supporters? Now, Jeff did get contacted, apparently. I'm just saying it's pretty suspicious. Like, who was it,
Whatever. So, man, that just shows you, we have no fans, okay, sure, guys. We have nobody that likes to listen to us. Okay, sure, guys. To the ones that say that, like that piece of crap Adam Hughes or that piece of crap Joe Feeney or any of those guys. Hey, whatever, man. Really, sure. Jeff was sitting there saying how people were bombing his board with it, or his message board and his DMs and emails, whatever. Give me a break, Jeff Lane, whatever. You got what you got, man. So he does a YouTube video shooting on me and telling me all this bullshit and telling his side of the story. Whatever, bro. It's your side of the story. That's what it is. It's not fact. Go listen to the video. Once again, I'll say nothing fucking hateful out of this whole thing. You want to censor me, man? I could give a fuck less about being on the Realm Network, all right? I really could give a fuck less about it.
Except it made his life. Just a few months ago, it made his whole fucking life. It was the biggest thrill of his life.
This is a woman scorned.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Oh, the asshole, this and that. Meanwhile, a couple of days ago, you were sucking his cock and he didn't call you back.
Yep.
Indeed.
Now they don't want him on the network. Oh, you don't want me on there? Nah.
You reach a small niche audience of people. It really means shit to me, man. Brand has a lot of great people in it, a lot of talented people. You got good shows on there, good performers. Vince does some great stuff too sometimes.
But-
Jeff's a talented guy. Whatever though, bro. I really don't give a shit. You guys are a blacklisted, rogue ass fucking bunch of guys that nobody else wants to work with. Jeff Lane and Vince Russo, and anything that deals with Vince Russo, nobody wants to fucking deal with it because the guy is a complete fucking cancer and has burned every bridge in the business.
Whoa. Stop the clock. Wow. I don't remember this. This is amazing. When you hear him back to back, you hear that Castrating the Marks appearance, and then you hear this. Oh my God.
A cancer.
Blacklisted. Nobody wants to do anything with you guys.
I bummed out I'm not on the Realm Network show for Mike Durband. I'm not bummed out whatsoever. Do I think it was a chicken shit little pansy ass move that Jeff Lane made? Sure. And you know what? I guess he got what he got because people bombed him about it that he had to make a video. Well, then fast forward another couple of weeks, and then they bring this segment up on the show. And then here's where some of these guys start showing their true colors, like Joe Feeney and Adam Hughes from, It's Husey, Hello, that shit show that he does, and thinks it's so great because he gets good guests on there. But I'll talk about that piece of garbage in a minute.
Hold on a second.
And here it is, man.
He must have read a book or had someone advise him at some point how to do public relations. And chapter 1 of the book was like, build him up and then knock him down. Because every one of his statements is like, he's got some good guests. The audio is good. He's a handsome guy. I'd like to kiss him on the mouth and hold hands with him in the movie theater. What a dreadful piece of shit and it's every time about how awesome this person is. But
these guys are bombing me and clowning on me and trying to start shit with me, like Husey and Feeney and all these guys. And I take 99% of it because I just don't fucking get into Twitter wars with people because they're a bunch of Twitter.
You don't?
He's got a fake account going right now.
They're tough guys, most of these people. A bunch of candy asses hiding behind a fucking keyboard. And you know what? I always think, you want to make barbs with me.
Isn't this the same guy who threatened to sue us?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
We're candy asses.
Yeah, and I'm sure those threats are going to happen again. I'm surprised that they haven't, But I said this to Hambone, I think I probably said it to other people, that if a letter ever showed up at my door, I would literally, Jeff, I'm sure you've seen the movie Major League 1,000 times, right?
Yes.
Mike? Yep. Yeah. So do you remember when Roger Dorn hands Lou Brown his contract that says he doesn't do any calisthenics?
Oh.
Yep.
What does he do to it?
He pees on it.
He throws it on the ground and pisses on it. And that's exactly what I will do if I ever receive anything from Wangland or any law firm or whatever. I'm going to drop it on the ground outside and piss on it. And I will film it and I will put it on YouTube. No cock shots, but you will see the piss.
Try to tell me how to do things, then it's on you, man. I appreciate your suggestions. Joe gave me say, I wouldn't be doing it if I was you. Hey, Joe, I appreciate it. Whatever. He said it in private nicely. Appreciate it, but I'm doing my own thing. I did my segment on Castrating the Bros, which fucking got tons of downloads and people fucking loved it. I got more messages on that than anything we've ever done. And we'll do it again too, just so you folks know. So many people want it again. It'll happen again. I promise you. It'll happen in a couple of weeks because it's fun to do.
For the record, it happened one more time. So if it was a wonderful success, it would have continued. Secondly, as someone reminded me a few weeks ago that I didn't even remember, I was supposed to be on the first one. And it was a Thursday night and I was recording with Raven. And John wanted me to come on and ambush Dave Radigan. So that's how close we are. And all of a sudden, good relations to this, because I was going to be on the first Castrating the Bros. So,
and it's a parody. And we enjoy doing it because I think we have a lot of talented guys that did that show and that are going to do it. And it's funny and it calls them out over there for the fucking real things that they do too. They want to call people out for being marks and all the things that they say when they have some of the biggest marks in the world for them. It was funny. It was great. And I'll do it again. But you know what, people, they want to say, oh, it's not the smart move to do it. You're going to make enemies. These guys aren't my friends anyways. They're not my allies. I'm having fun with it. By all means, whatever. So guys like Feeney, Hughes, whatever, some of these other trolls come out and want to act like I'm some idiot and irrelevant guy that doesn't do 10 downloads or whatever they say. And, whatever you want to think that, by all means, go suck it because it's not the truth. And here they come this week again because Feeney's just a little instigating clown that needs drama in his life because he's got nothing better
instigating
going for
clown
himself other than sitting in his basement down there, stroking.
Yep. I always thought that was the greatest. Like my office is set up in my basement. It's a finished basement. Where is it supposed to be? Why can't I have my office in my basement? You goof. I thought that was great. Nothing else going on. All right. I mean, that's. I mean, we do this. We have our fun or whatever. But no one has spent as much time on this back and forth shit than John. And I do everything under my own name with my own handsome face saying it. And he's always done things a sneaky way behind other names. He just got called out for having another fake account. You know, email and providers, all the shit we went over before. So for him to be like, these guys have no lives. Dude, you spent more time on this than anybody. And we have verifying witnesses that dealt with it that you would, DM and say, do this for me, retweet this, make this video. So it's just hypocritical shit.
And then here they come this week again because Feeney's just a little instigating clown that needs drama in his life because he's got nothing better going for himself other than sitting in his basement down there, stroking his cock with Husey, being down there and putting each other over all day long, thinking they're funny when they're both fucking absolutely dreadfully awful.
I think you guys are both pretty funny.
Here they are going on this show.
I know I'm funny. Damn it.
Yeah.
But, once you're called out by comedy master John Wangland, I guess I should second guess.
K100 with Conan. Conan's a legend. Disco's a talented guy over there. And they do this whole 20-minute long segment last week on me about...
Wrong. It was like 5-6 minutes and it was on Patreon.
The whole situation. Joe brings it up. I don't like those guys over there and trying to bury me.
Again, that's when the kayfabe podcast wars were going on. So, of course, I was in the background going, I don't like those guys. That was supposed to be a part of the gag, stupid.
Well, it kind of bit him in the ass there, man, because Disco really took Russo to task, and Russo says, hey, it's not me. I'm not a snowflake. It's Jeff. He's the one that did it, and blah, 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 blah. And then they bring Mike on, and this is where I'll preface Mike here. Folks, don't send me messages trying to get me mad at Mike. I'm not mad at Mike over this whatsoever. People are trying to send this to me. Can you believe Durband buried you like that? No, I'm not mad at Mike over this or anything. Do I agree with Mike said? No, I don't. But Mike's really good friends with Husey and Joe, and,
I don't remember any of this. I was on a show.
You and Russo were on in separate segments the week after Jeff censored the show.
On Keeping It 100?
Yeah, because Disco wanted to call it out and make fun of it.
Oh, my God. I don't even remember that.
So I will say this. I don't remember either. So I don't know what you said. I'm sure you were, trying to Switzerland it up. And I'm sure you said something like, I can understand why Jeff did it.
Yeah.
That's probably all.
What they all put each other over all the time. And hey, that's their thing. I'm not mad at Mike at all, man. Mike has his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. Do I think he's right in his opinion? I absolutely think he's completely 100% wrong in his opinion, but that's Mike's opinion, and I'm not mad at him for it. Mike wasn't rude or nasty about me in any way. Do I think what he said was completely wrong? Absolutely, I do.
Hey, does he think you're wrong?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He needs to go back and listen to the whole thing again. But people don't think I'm mad at Mike or should be mad at Mike because I'm not going to be, because I like Mike Durband and he's a great guy and Mike is entitled to opinion and he wasn't a disrespectful prick like some of these other guys. Well, here's the peanut gallery. Joe's in there laughing away, chiming in. I don't like those guys. Fuck those guys. Blah, 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 blah. I'm with Jeff. Okay, go stick with Jeff, dude. I know you guys all want to be desperately, liked by Russo so much. Go right ahead, man.
To me, that's always been projecting. Because there is someone involved right now that wants to desperately be liked by Russo, and it's John. And so, like Jeff said, he's been a scorned lover for months now, almost a year now. He actually tried to backdoor it in and try to get back in the good graces over there. But Jeff Lane knows exactly who the fuck he is. It's never going to happen, dude. You blew it, and I told you to watch what you're doing, and you just admitted it on this audio here that I was trying to advise you constructively, and you ignored it. And now look where things wound up. So
go right ahead, Feeney. Do your thing. Husey, go do your thing and align with him. I'll get into Husey in a minute and Joe because they're a whole other topic here.
And business is about to pick up.
Bothered the next day when Disco goes at him on Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco. People say, go listen to it. Okay. Jeff didn't want to talk about it. He got upset by it. Disco made him look like a fucking boob on there. And you know what? That's the exact reason why Jeff shouldn't have done what he done. did what he did, done what he done, whatever you want to put it.
He's a fucking English
Master's degree right there.
Master's degree. Yep.
Did it.
Starting to sound like Russo breaking up there with abbreviations and butchering grammar. But, Jeff did what he did, and Disco Man looked like a jackass, man. And Vince wanted to deflect it off of that situation so fast. So, once again, fucking backfired on you, man. You look dumb as hell in the process.
Did you hear the Notebook page turn? What a nut.
I'm impressed by that because normally he just freeforms it and repeats everything 7 times.
I still think he may not have had a glass of water nearby. And is he going without taking a breath or what? Tremendous.
But all's fair in love and war, man. They can say whatever they want. I said what I wanted, so I can take what I dish out. All right? I'm a New Yorker. I'm a podcast.
You're from fucking upstate, you clown.
He's a New Yorker. How do you feel about that?
I'm from Binghamton.
He's sullying the name of the state.
Yeah, my God.
Is there anyone less New York than John Wangland?
I have a big mouth sometimes, and sometimes I go too far. Sometimes I'm a little over the top. Sometimes I'm a little extreme, and I admit that, and I can admit that about myself. I'm not perfect the way that I do things. Far from it, folks. All right, and I work on not doing stuff online, on Twitter, and getting into those things. But one can only take so much, and that'll kind of be some of the things we'll talk about here in just a second. So I'll close Russo and Lane out. I wish you all the best. I thank you for letting me come on your show and having you on my show. I appreciate the exposure. Don't think you made me my dude, because right before you ever came on to my stuff, we had been hitting the charts. We had great interviews. We had coverage. We were doing lots and lots of downloads. So my brother, don't ever think you made me. Did you help me, and do I appreciate it in some ways?
My dude, my brother.
These guys have always been confused about what's a lot of downloads, though, and I've said it on here before, just to call it out. Like, if you do 1,000 downloads and you think you're doing something, it's worth $20 for an ad. So,
Right.
if you're at 10,000, which is most ad companies won't even look at you unless you have 10,000 or more, it's a $200 ad, which is it's like they used to say. The median wrestling contract you used to want to get back in the 90s was $156. WCW offered $78,000 and $156, and if you got $156, you were good. You were set. You were secure. It's almost like that with podcasting. If you're under 10,000 downloads, it's nothing. It's fine. It's good for hobbyists. You have to be over 10,000 to be worth a fucking thing, and for an ad company to even consider you.
Of course, dude. You definitely helped expose us to different people. I like the brand. 99% of them are great people. There's 1% of them that are psycho marks for Vince Russo and just sit over there and kiss his ass to everything he does, that pay him all their hard.
What kind of a low-life loser would kiss Russo's ass? Who would do such a thing?
Really, my God.
And money that literally are borderline stalker material with them, but 99% of them are great people. And if you don't like me, folks, then I understand. Hey, you have your right to your own opinion. I'm not going to dog you for it. I laugh at some of these people that go online that don't have the balls to say it to me, but they go online and they'll say it back behind me. Okay, man, I really don't care, but I'll say it to you. Would you say it to my face? Absolutely, you wouldn't fucking say it to my face. 99% of them that are out there making those comments. And it's only a small percentage, because that's the only small percentage of the people that actually listen to that shit are like these crazy nutcase marks for Russo. And we're all marks to something, folks. We're all wrestling marks. I'm so sick of this bullshit with the brand thinking everybody's wrestling marks because they listen to Dave Meltzer or they follow wrestling or AEW or WWE. Get off your fucking high horse. You're a mark for Russo. We're all marks for something in life. It's fucking pathetic, man. Russo is a pathetic shell of himself, man. And this guy has burnt every bridge everywhere he's been because he's got a completely awful personality and it must be a completely awful person to work with.
Pathetic shell. That's what you say about someone who's basically a stranger who helped you out, you know?
Yeah. Oof.
There ain't many places left this guy can go. So he sucks all you guys' asses, man, to get you to give him his last dollar, to give him all your money and to get $1 out of you, to get your last dollar from you. And I'm telling you, in a couple of years when he retires because I'm sure he's got plenty of cash now, that boy's gone and he will never have anything to do with you ever again. So remember that when he does it, man. So whenever you're peddling your money to this guy and believing the con man that is Vince Russo?
So now, I've never met Vince Russo, but I know people who have.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that he's actually pretty nice and engaging guy.
Yeah, there's no, absolutely zero need for the way John's talking about him right now, with so little experience with him as a person, and just this is how this guy turned out. We just heard the previous recording where he was, please be on my show. This makes my life having me on. And then just a few months later, the guy's a hollow shell con artist, fucking loser that no one wants to work with.
Telling you, man, it's a woman scorned, bro.
But I wish them all the best, and I thank them for coming on my show.
Wait. He's a hollow shell. He's a piece of shit. He's stealing your money. He's a loser. But I wish them all the best.
But I wish them the best.
God damn.
Me reach a few different people, but don't ever think that you put us to the level that we are at right now because of you, because that's the most egregious bullshit lie I've ever heard in my life. And you need to take that comment and you need to go stick that where the sun don't shine, because that's exactly where it should be. Now let's get to some other people here.
Fucking phenomenal. So let's wrap that one up. And I just wanted to make an example of how nuts the things went back in the day and where they went from one end to another so quickly. And you can hear, although you've heard, people that are listening have probably listened to most of these, you've heard how quickly he turned against, Rob and Richie and really slayed them. And it's happened with everyone he's worked with. He went from, I fucking love you guys, you do the greatest stuff, I'm a loyal subscriber that's never going to quit, to go fucking fuck yourselves. Everyone that listens to you is a nut, fake religious, you're a con artist, and so on. So, Jeff, what did you think of that that rapid turnaround by John?
Well, I mean, again, woman scorned, bro. That's all I can say. Jesus. And here's the thing, like, even if you're not like into somebody professionally, you know what I'm saying? You don't like what they're doing, whatever, man. The personal attack, like, what the fuck? I don't know, man.
And there was more in there. That was a snippet of what was an hour and 15 minutes. But prior to that, there was another 15 minutes about Russo and Jeff. But I had to condense it into that short clip there. The next 40, 45 minutes, it's pretty much me and Husey, a little bit about Disco and Conan. So continuously in the video, I don't care, whatever, I don't care. And then he does an hour and 20-minute recording that one time compared to the multiple times that he did that afterwards. This shit was just beginning at that point.
See, now this goes back to the whole master's degree thing, right? Because if you've ever had to deliver a presentation in public,
yeah,
you never say you don't care, because all of a sudden everything that comes after that is just bullshit and people are going to tune it out.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. This guy, well, what can you say? I mean, listen, he has pretty much done everything that he's accusing like these other people of doing in terms of burning his bridges. His network, if you can even call it that at this point, is bereft of talent. There's nobody there anymore.
Yeah. Don't call it a network. It's not a network. It's a brand. It's a brand.
It's the brand now.
Okay.
And it's on one feed. Don't forget that it's on one feed.
Unbelievable.
And man, no friends left. I mean, listen, it's something to be said about people like that.
There was a time probably where he could have put the brakes on and apologized to people and turned this around, and that time is long gone. People still ask me now, and I'm like, I don't even want an apology. Now I'm just having fun dancing on the grave, and that's pretty much it. So I've gotten friendly with Rob a little bit. I've gotten friendly with Richie a little bit. There's other guys on his brand that I'm friendly with. Sorry to tell you, John. But John is, I would pull a Jeff Lane at this point. He's not welcome anywhere near any of these shows. He's not welcome to, and the guy IAC is like, well, why don't you talk to him? Why don't you talk to him? Because there's nothing in it for me. There's nothing in it for Mike. There's nothing in it for any of us to have John on right now. We've said all there is to say, and now we're just wrapping up. It's over. And believe me, I've already predicted that his network was going to be wrapped up by the spring. I was pretty close. And this new attempt at a brand, it's not even going to be here for Labor Day. Just remember that I said that.
Yep.
Like the clock is winding down here. What did you think about what you heard today? That apparently some of it you weren't familiar with.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much I forgot about it or didn't even know about. But I just love the comparison from one extreme. I mean, it's an extreme.
Yeah.
The ass kissing, and then a few months later, it's like, dude, he fucking rips Russo apart.
Yeah.
And that was just a sample, like you said. That was a little sample of what he did on his hour-plus video on YouTube, which, I would pay big money if we can get access to that. But at this point.
The only one that I had was the one that started as a YouTube video and he put out as a podcast, and it was called A Friendly and Polite Message to Vince Russo. And he tried to be, but it was almost exactly like this one. So that's in the vault. There's some more of that episode in the vault when Husey's back on and he's talking about how he would whoop Husey's ass in 8 seconds and choke him out. That's my favorite. We're gonna go over that next time. And thankfully, since we woke up the corpse that is John, and he started to put out some new content, it seems like we're gonna continue to have this endless reservoir of wonderful, refreshing content for at least the time being, probably until about Labor Day when it all crashes and burns for good.
People love it, and we thank you guys for listening. We thank you for watching. We've only received, 99% of the people love it, but everybody else loves it. We get so much comments and DMs, and
he's such a character, and he's and like it's such hypocritical stuff and funny and boasting over the top and everything. Like anyone who has any kind of ear for a pathological liar hears certain sentences and goes, "Nope." Just like when he was like, "I played it for my wife, and man, she rolled on the floor." Nope. I can tell just by listening to your tone that you're lying to me. You're making up a story, so that's what makes this so fun.